Hi there, world changers. Welcome to day 9 of the series 21 Days of Gamification, where we'll be learning all about how to apply the theories of data, behavioral science, and game design to your environmental or social change problem. Today's article is called Why You Should Be Using Leaderboards to Change the World. We talked about leaderboards in the last episode, but let's dive into a bit more detail about how powerful they really can be. We can't escape the fact that if you want to change the world, you need to motivate a human being to do a thing. It can be really difficult to motivate people to do things. Sometimes we're even asking people to make huge changes to their lives. But motivating people doesn't have to be so hard. When we learn the drivers to human motivation, we can hack into the human being's motivational core to really get them to do more good things. One simple tool that you can use to motivate people is the leaderboard. The leaderboard is a simple and classic gamification tool that's used in almost every game and sport in the world. But where are they for environmental causes? Nowhere. A leaderboard is really simple. It's just a list of players ranked by their score. In the context of environmental or social change, our players could be colleges, suburbs, businesses, corporations, buildings, or schools, and their score is going to be real and measurable environmental data. It could be the amount of trash, it could be air pollution, numbers of trees, kilograms of carbon dioxide, or it could be social and health indicators. So we gather this information and then we put them on a scoreboard. And what's great about leaderboards is that we can keep layering on other gamification tools over the top. Like we can layer on colors, we can layer on progress bars, we can layer on comparison, and we can layer on star ratings. And heck, why not add some awards and badges in there as well? That's what's so cool about gamification. You don't need to just pick one. You can just put them all together to make it just more and more fun. And what's really interesting about leaderboards is that it's not necessarily the social comparison that drives people to change. It's actually the disclosure of information that just when we put the data out and make it public and easy to understand, people are simply naturally driven to change. Although leaderboards are common and ubiquitous in games, they do rely on measurement. And it's heartbreaking that so many not-for-profits and cities and community groups are not measuring what they really want to change. And so they're not going to be able to make a leaderboard because a leaderboard requires numbers, it requires measurement. And sometimes measuring what you want to change and bringing measurement out in the open is a truly radical activity in some groups. To make a good leaderboard, you're going to need to know your players and how you're going to group them, and you'll need to know the data and how you're going to rank them. Here's an example for vegan cities. Now, a lot of people who are vegan are really passionate about trying to get other people to go vegan. And so they'll make YouTube videos, they'll create documentary screenings, and they'll try and use the sharing of information to motivate people to their cause. But here's another way. What if we got the data of how much meat consumption there was in cities all over the country, and then we ranked the cities based on how meaty they were, and then you'd be able to go and find your city's meat score. Maybe you could call it like a death score or something fun like that. And I suspect that making a leaderboard for the deathliest or meatiest cities would really inspire cities to start reducing their meat consumption. And I suspect you'd actually see some measurable change in the data, far more than what you get from a bunch of vegans making YouTube videos. Although a leaderboard is simple, a tiny leaderboard might deliver a huge result. If nobody has ever gathered the data about the cause that you're working on, then gathering the data could be a big deal for you starting to really make an impact on this cause. I think there's a huge opportunity out there in applying leaderboards to environmental data for whole cities. There's a really inspiring example project called Oklahoma City Goes on a Diet. And this project happened when the mayor of Oklahoma saw an article in Men's Health magazine. And the article ranked the top 5 fattest cities in America and put Oklahoma City right at the top. The mayor was so incensed by this, and he also looked at himself and realized that he was very overweight as well, that he really had to do something for his city. So he started this campaign called lose £1 million. And he teamed up with a local radio station to get the residents of Oklahoma City to pledge their weight loss goals on this website and start adding how much weight that they'd lost to the website until they reached £1 million. This campaign completely snowballed. They even got a 1% tax through the government to help fund more community activity infrastructure like more trees and more bike paths. Now, the mayor doesn't explain his motivation in terms of rank, but because I've got my feelers out for looking out for the examples of rank, I could see that the reason why he got so invested in this, because he didn't want to be the fattest city. He didn't want to be number one on the bad list. And that's the power of using numbers to rank people. And I think the world really is our oyster in providing leaderboards, in getting real environmental data to rank cities and using that data to inspire cities to change. What's really great about this type of gamification techniques is that they're not only fun, but we don't need to micromanage people with draconian legislation to get them to change. If we can just get the data out there and use the behavior and gamification tools, then people will change all of their own accord. And this is a much easier way to approach environmental and social change. And it's been done so little before, there is a whole lot of low-hanging fruit that we can jump on board and start implementing these techniques to create change. That's it for today's article, why you should use leaderboards to change the world. If you want to see the full written article, you can see it on my website, katiepatrick.com/articles. And I've also narrated it on the How to Save the World podcast on iTunes. I hope you're really inspired to start measuring what you want to change in the world and using that measurement to do super fun gamification techniques. If you want to learn more about gamification, check out my video course called Save the World with Gamification, where you can learn the full 15 gamification techniques along with academic references, case studies, example designs, and homework. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for gamification technique number 10.